If you're tired of trying different betting strategy after strategy, only to see your frustration grow and your bankroll slowly disappear, you need to make sure that you're implementing the 60-30-10 rule. And in this video, we are going to dive into all of the details of this strategy so that you know exactly how it works. And this is a strategy that over the course of my 3 years of sports betting, I've went back to time and time again, and it has provided me consistent, profitable results. If your current betting strategy is letting you down, and you're not really sure what's that next strategy that you can employ that's going to work, then this is the video for you. Whether you're a rookie or a vet in the sports betting game, you're going to be able to find value in this strategy and apply some of these principles to your own strategy. The reason that the 60-30-10 rule is so profitable is because I'm utilizing a software that finds me plays in the sports betting market that have an edge, and that software is OddsJam. Now, think of this as a pie chart, and the first 60%, the main bulk of our strategy, is going to come from arbitrage and middle betting. So let's dive in right now and go through two different examples of how we can utilize this strategy to our advantage. So where 60% and the bulk of our betting strategy is going to lie is within arbitrage and middle betting. So right here we have an awesome opportunity between the San Francisco 49ers and Buffalo Bills on the team total touchdowns over under 2.5. And guys, linked in the description will be a 1-week free trial to OddsJam, and then use my code BillyC to save yourself 35% off your first month after the trial ends. As you can see right here with the one-click bet feature, we just need to re-verify my location. This pulls the play up for us automatically. You don't have to take any time to search these plays. So now you can just come over here to the calculator and figure out, well, how much money do you want to wager? So for this, maybe over at Bet365, I'm going to keep this as a $100 bet, but over at Caesars, I'm going to place a $220 wager. Now, in this example, because the plus odds or this number is larger than the minus odds, this is a guaranteed arbitrage opportunity for us where we're going to make risk-free cash hedging our bet. We're going to receive just over a 4.5% return off of our investment, and our investment in this example will be $320 total. So right here, the first thing that we're going to do, come over to Bet365, type in 100. Now, I'm not going to submit this bet just yet. We're going to make sure we plug in both bets. We take a look at the odds. I like everything here. Okay, let's hit submit. Boom. It gets taken for us over at Bet365. And then over at Caesars, this wager is accepted as well. So now when we break down the math, here's how we can figure out exactly how much we are going to stand to make. We have $220 wagered over here at Caesars, an extra $100 here at Bet365. That's $320 total. If the 49ers score 3 touchdowns or more in this game, then we are going to make our $320 back plus $320 of profit, $340 total. If they score 2 touchdowns or less in the game, our total investment is $320. We're getting paid out $333.40. That's $13.40 of profit. This is a zero risk, high reward strategy, and this is going to be the bulk of our betting strategy. Comes from arbitrage betting and then also a little known strategy called middle betting. Let me show you. Another strategy that I love to utilize is with middle betting. So right here, we can see that we have Boise State at minus 4.5 points on the first quarter spread at minus 106 odds. Now over on Bet365, the team that they're playing, Oregon State, the first quarter spread, we can get them at plus 6.5 at plus 115 odds. So in this example, the plus odds are larger than the minus odds. So on an arbitrage calculator, you can see that, well, if we wager $200 over at FanDuel, and I'm going to round down here and wager $180 over at Bet365, we're going to have a profit no matter what happens. But here's the beauty with this strategy. So we go ahead and place this bet with Oregon State, and then the same with Boise State. Okay, so now we locked in both bets. Let's now work through the math with a calculator. So with the first quarter spread, we have right here $180 over at Bet365 and $200 over at FanDuel. Our total investment is $380. If Boise State wins the first quarter by 5 points or more, we win the bet on FanDuel, profiting $8.68. Now, if Oregon State somehow covers this spread, then we're going to make back $387 total. And again, that's a $7 profit. So here's where it gets very interesting. Let's say that Boise State scores a touchdown in the first quarter, but they missed the extra point, and they are up 6-0 going into the second quarter. Well, guess what? We cash our first quarter spread at -4.5 because Boise State is up 6-0. But we also cash the first quarter spread because Oregon State, we have them at +6.5. So middle betting is extremely low risk, high reward. We arbitrage our play here, where we're going to make cash no matter what happens. But if somehow this first quarter point spread lands in between 5 or 6 points, we're going to win both bets. Finding these bets is a breeze using the OddsJam middle tool. So the only thing that I'll have set up here with my features is, depending on the date range, if you want to find bets for today, the next 24 hours, the next 7 days, and then obviously wherever you live, the state or country, the sports books that you have accounts with, you just kind of set those all up right here. But my percentage, the one thing that I will go ahead and do is type in 0.001%. I want to make sure that any type of middle bet that I find has some type of positive return. Now, these opportunities don't pop up nearly as much as arbitrage, but when they do, they can be very profitable. So right here, we can see that this arbitrage play between Georgia Tech and Georgia is under 1%, but we have a sliver of opportunity here to win one bet and lose the other bet. So if the final score lands on 50 points, 27-23, well, we would push our wager here on Bet Rivers, but we would cash our wager on FanDuel because we hit the over 49.5. But no matter what happens, we are going to make some type of profit. But with middle betting, we leave ourselves a window, or we hit the middle of the bet and cash either one or both sides. Taking the time to set up your filters, whether it's on the arbitrage tool, the middle tool, or the next portion of the strategy that we're going to jump into, is very crucial for your success. Now, in the percentage here, I would advise a minimum of at least 2%, but you could also go up to 3 or 4% as your bare minimum ROI that you're willing to accept on an arbitrage play. Leave the maximum field here completely blank. Naturally, the sports books, this is going to just depend on where you live and what you're really, what's available to you. Now with your market, OddsJam's done an awesome job of a subtle little update where you can drill down now into specific markets. Maybe you just want to bet on those mainline money line spreads and totals. Well, you can do that. Maybe you just want to focus on player props, but not just player props. Maybe it's just going to be for the NFL. You can do that as well. Now what you can do here is save this filter. Let me just call this NFL player prop ARBs. Then you can click the push notifications button right here, click save, and you're now going to receive an email anytime that a player prop bet in the NFL is profitable. Makes things very simple for you. You don't have to sit out here on the tool all day long. You simply receive an email, log into both sports books, and grab that easy value. Why the bulk of this strategy is revolved around arbitrage and middle betting is because it's zero risk, high reward. And then with middle betting, we leave a window of opportunity that we might be able to cash one or both bets that can really explode our bottom line. Now, the 30% of this rule, that's where we're going to introduce positive expected value betting. And so this is where we're going to be finding plays in the sports betting market that have an edge. And it takes on a bit more risk than arbitrage and middle betting. That's why it's a lower percentage, but we want exposure when utilizing this strategy. Let me show you. Over here at the OddsJam Positive Expected Value tool, how this tool works is it scans all of the sports books that I have accounts with and then shows me the handful of plays where some of these sports books are just really out of sync compared to the rest of the market. Now, for my percentage here, guys, I like to go at least a minimum of 3%. Your sports books, I'm just going to have my Pennsylvania sports books teed up right here. Now, we do have an NFL game going on today as it is Black Friday. So I'm going to set the date range for just for today. We're going to tee up the NFL. Now, here's where the 30% of this positive expected value, this is why setting up your filters is so important. For our minimum odds, we want -150, and for our maximum odds, we want +150. Now, for our market width, I normally mess around with 40 cents, but I think that 35 cents to 40 cents is a great place to start. So now we have our filters set up. We are devigging from the sharpest sportsbook in the world, Pinnacle, and we're using the power default method. Now, removing the vig. That is what de-vigging is. All of these sports books within their odds have some type of juice baked into their odds. We need to remove the vig to find out what the fair price is. And Pinnacle thinks that it's minus 129 for Isaiah Pacheco over 9.5 receiving yards at Bet365. If we wanted to profit $100 on this play, as you can see, we would have to wager $125 over at Fliff, whereas over at Bet365, we only have to wager $110 to receive that same payout. So we're going to come over here, click on game, and the reason that we're attacking Bet365 is we're receiving an amazing price when it comes to this play. We're going to go to receiving yards, and we're looking for Pacheco at over 9.5. This is his main line right here. Now, the recommended bet size of $710 is a fantastic recommendation based off of my bankroll. I prefer personally for myself to take a bit more of a conservative approach. So what I will do is this is essentially a 2-unit play for me, wagering $220 to profit $200. The secret behind positive EV betting is placing that wager on Pacheco over 9.5 receiving yards at Bet365. We're getting paid out more than what we should, or we're receiving a discount of a price compared to the rest of the sports betting market. And so placing multiple wagers like this time and time again, when you're receiving a larger payout than what we should, that's that edge that's really going to compound for us time and time again. So keeping this in that 30% range is because there isn't a guarantee that Pacheco hits on this bet, but we want to have exposure to this place. Now, for the final portion of this strategy, that 10% rule, this is for my parlay bettors, and we're going to utilize the positive EV tool. But instead of wagering on parlays, we're going to switch up the strategy and go with a safer approach, which is round robin betting. Now, for round robin betting, we need a minimum of 3 picks. But let me show you how I love to incorporate this strategy in the 60-30-10 rule. For round robin betting, this is a series of smaller parlays, and the minimum requirements that we need to make a round robin bet is at least 3 picks. So the big difference here in my filter setup is I will come over here and set the minimum odds for plus 100 and leave the maximum odds of plus 150. This is a great strategy to employ when we're wagering on underdogs. So we're looking at Darius Garland in this Cavs-Hawks game, over 7.5 assists at plus 150. You can see that this is a massive outlier compared to the rest of the sports betting market. You wager $100 over at DraftKings, you're making $115, where a $100 wager at FanDuel pays us out $150. That's a $35 difference, extra money in our pocket playing this over at FanDuel. So with this strategy and employing on underdogs, maybe you don't have as much confidence wagering on underdogs as I have this teed up right here. So you can see that the parlay is going to pay us out $1,082 as our odds. But right here, round robin lives right here below. Now the payout's not going to be as high, but that's because we have a level of insurance. You see, with round robin betting, if we lose one of these picks, we can still turn a profit. Now, something that's very important to note, that if I only wanted to wager, let's say a total of $75 on this play, then simply what I would want to do here is type in 25, because 25 times 3, again, 3 separate 2-leg parlays is going to give us $75. Now for this, I want to go a little bit higher. I'm going to put $50 down. So $150 total is what I'm wagering on this. I love to run this type of strategy when it comes to these types of plays on the EV tool that are underdogs. We're getting paid out more than what we should. Each individual play has an edge on its own. When we add all 3 of these edges together, that compounds exponentially. Think about this as these are the 3 best plays, or the all-star plays, for each one of these games. We add these 3 all-stars together all on one team, and we can seriously do some damage to the sports books. For the final 10%, instead of us wagering on parlays, we're going to switch the strategy to round robin betting, which is going to allow us to have a level of insurance when we're placing these types of bets. Now, the example that I showed you was the most basic of the round robin, but start out with those 2x3s, and you're going to find that you're going to enjoy this a lot more than parlays, because how many times have you lost a parlay by 1 leg? Well, utilizing the filter setup here and going after this specific strategy, if you hit 2 out of 3, you're going to turn a profit every single time. If you found value in this content, make sure to smash that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, and click that bell notification so you don't miss the next video that we release. So to recap, within the 60-30-10 rule, feel free if you want to tinker around with these numbers a little bit. If you want to make this, I don't know, maybe a 70-20-10 rule. Or maybe you want to go with an 80-10-10 rule. You can, but we want the massive majority of this strategy to lie within arbitrage and middle betting. And then we want to have the smaller amounts, positive EV and round robin, that has a little bit of risk attached to this. We want this to be the smaller percentage of the rule, right? But this is going to be a great foundation for you as a sports bettor to start seeing consistent profits month after month. All of the bets that we placed are pre-match types of wagers. And if you're someone that's really into live betting, you need to check out this best tips and tricks video that's going to help you navigate the live betting waters utilizing OddsJam software. Click this video right here that's going to walk you through the things that you need to be aware of and look out for so that you can have consistent success live betting with the sports books.